Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. No, we're not doing this after live stream this time. We're back to the normal recording style. I was very tired last time, and I was a little bit too hopeful on Virtus Pro. It didn't pan out, but they looked pretty good this weekend. Either way, we're back to Europe. I'm doing this on Sunday, so it's pretty soon after the Swiss, and I'm not as caught up on what happened during that Swiss stage as I would like to be, but we're gonna roll with this anyways. I know generally how the teams are. We've got the Wikipedia pulled up to see, who's on which team. I know what forms everyone's in. So let's get started. Gentlemates Synergy. This is a trap game, but at least Gentlemates know it's a trap game. Synergy took down Karmine Corp in 5 last event. They made top 6. Gentlemates failed to make the top 8 last time. They got bounced by Man City and Karmine Corp. I think they're fully aware that this is going to be a challenge, and they're not overlooking it. I'm giving it a 3-0. Sorry, Synergy, but Gentlemates have to be informed this time. Gritty Goose versus Geekay. Gritty Goose, who's on that team? Oh, they've actually got a name. Thank you. I've been asking for this for a while that it wasn't TRB. I'm glad we got Bibaba Toxin Braziers actually going with a name. And that's a difficult match for Geekay. They struggled last event. I have a hard time seeing them struggle this event because I feel like the warning signs are there. I'm going to make it close, but I feel like it's got to go to Geekay. That feels bad for Gritty Goose. This is also a death quadrant with the form Synergy was in last time. WIP and PCS Stride. WIP is a Day Shift, Compact, and Toxic. They go 3-0 through the Swiss again. They got bounced 0-2 last of main event. PCS Stride is Pluvo, Mike Boy, and Smashy. I feel bad that WIP went 3-0 in the Swiss and failed to get a series last event. I got to give this one to them. I feel like they're overdue for a win in the main event at some point. And then K-Dop Core versus Magnifico. This is a fun one. Magnifico failed to make the last main event. Meanwhile, K-Dop Core made that top 8 run. This is Alpha 54 Redosin. For those who don't know the new Magnifico roster, it is Eugen, Atomic, and Nico. I like the 3 individuals on Magnifico, but considering how well K-Dop Core was working last event, I think I got to give them this series. Let's go in chronological order, which means we're just going to finish Group A at this point. Normally, I bounce back and forth between the groups, which is kind of what we do on the broadcast, or at least timing-wise. But since we're doing all of Group A and then all of Group B now, I'm just going to keep going on Group A and talk about all of them. Gentlemates Geekay. This shouldn't be close. I got Gentlemates with a big bounce back top 6 here. WIP K-Dop Core. With the form that K-Dop Core is in, you got to give it to him. 3-1. Synergy Gritty Goose. I feel bad predicting Synergy to go out last after they just, made a top 6. That being said, it's, Synergy went 3-1 through the Swiss last time and made that top 6. Got a big upset over Karmine Corp, Gritty Goose. I could see Synergy taking it, but I just back enough results from Gritty Goose to give it to them. I'll make it close again. But I have a bad time predicting them predicting them under Geekay at this point. I feel like Gritty Goose has got to get some wins. And then PCS Stride Magnifico. I'm gonna give this one to Magnifico. I've mentioned the players on this team. Feel like they got to get a series win at some point. WIP Gritty Goose. This feels like it's our Bibaba top 8 for the first time. I'll make it close, but it should go to the Geese. And then you got Geekay Magnifico in the lowers, and this is a trap game. If you are Geekay, you better be on your toes because this is a solid group of individuals, and if they play as a team and they play well as a team, Geekay can lose this. We saw Geekay lose 2 matches they had no business losing last event. They go 3-1 through the Swiss. I am not honestly fully caught up on who they lost to. It would have been Vitality. That's an acceptable loss. But yeah, I'm gonna predict Geekay in a close one. Pretty banger Group A, if you ask me. The only sweeps are Gentlemates taking care of business. Go over to Group B. You got Man City versus Era. I'm unfamiliar with Era. Who is Era? Oh, that's Sizen, Mako, and Anora Q. Looks like they got picked up by a organization. 3-0 for Man City. They were in great form last event. Karmine versus Calogaris. Calogaris was the team that upset Geekay last event. And, due respect to Calogaris, because they also almost made top 8. They had a 0-second goal by Vadi that ended up losing in overtime. It was game 5. 0-second goal by Vadi to keep them alive, and then they lose in OT. So not a bad squad, but it's Karmine Corp. Vitality GHT. GHT is that full Italian roster of TMS, Hyder, and Grandma. And Vitality is Vitality. Ninjas, Pyjamas, and Toad. For those who don't know, Toad in the Hole, that's Goff's Emotion and Vorse. Looks like the roster that made top 6 last time. Yeah, they are on their points rankings. Ninjas, I got confidence in them. I'll give a 3-1 because I'll respect the run that Toad made last time, but we got to give it to the Ninjas and Pyjamas. Man City, Karmine Corp. Pretty much a trap game for Karmine Corp. I could see this going to Man City. You know what? I'm going to spice it up. We've seen some weird stuff this split. Before anyone gets on my case, we've seen some weird stuff this split. NRG just failed to make finals in North America. You had a Shopify Rebellion regional win after they looked pretty dreadful last event, truth be told. You had Foot Esports in the finals. You have R8 almost running the table in the Middle East. Falcons are falling off. Don't come at me for this Karmine Corp loss. Weird things are happening. Vitality Ninjas, rematch of the finals. I'll make it a little bit closer. Should still go to Vitality. Arrow versus Caligaris. I'm going to give this one to Caligaris. They looked pretty solid and almost making their top 8 run last time. And then GHT Toad. I like the GHT squad with full Italian guys. But Toad know how to make a top 6. I'll give it 3. Or I'll give it 5. But giving it to Toad. And then lower bracket. I mean, this is a group of favorites. If the 4 favorites don't get out of this group, I'll be very surprised. It'll take an upset in round 1, probably. This should be 3. I'll just double sweep this. And now we get into our bracket. Okay. Lower rounds. Ninjas Geekay. There's something about this matchup. Ninjas always win. They just always win. And I want the Geekay bounce back. But Ninjas just always beat Geekay. Even back to last year when Geekay was making lands and land finals even. Ninjas always had Geekay's number. They have their number this year despite the fact that there were times Geekay looked like they could be better. Gotta give this one to the Pyjamas. I guess they're not called Pyjamas. They're Ninjas and Pyjamas. Karmine Corp, Gritty Goose. Sorry, Tox, Braziers, and Bubba. I'll make it an entertaining series. Gentlemates Vitality. This is the rematch we were promised last event of the Boston Major Finals and didn't get because Gentlemates couldn't make it past Man City. Vitality, the consensus #1 team in the world right now. Gentlemates. The loser drops down to play Karmine Corp, which you're either getting Vitality Karmine Corp for the first time this split, or you're getting the Gentlemates Karmine Corp rematch. Brutal draw if you're Karmine Corp. Don't lose to Man City here if you don't want to be in this position. And also Man City KDOP Corp for top 4 is brilliant. Let's do that. This went 7 last time. I'll make it a little less close. Man City should still take it. I'm giving it a game 7. Entertaining series. Gotta give it to Man City, though. Or, sorry, to Gentlemates. Then we got our bracket. Should be a win for Ninjas. Good job on making top 6 KDOP Corp. Keeping yourselves in the conversation. Vitality Karmine Corp. I've said this time and time again. Actually, I don't know how many times I've said it publicly. It needs to be said, though. There was the very long win streak for Karmine over Vitality that was broken at the Boston Major. And while that is all well and good for Vitality, you can't lose the next 2. Because if you lose 2 more series against Karmine Corp, like in a row now, people will just go back and be like, oh my gosh, Karmine Corp like 12-1 against it, and the whole narrative will start again. You can't lose that. You can't lose this. 4-2 Vitality. Vitality Man City. This one we saw last event, and it was a Vitality just running the bracket. I don't think they're going to have as much success in the playoff bracket as they did last event. I don't know if that's physically possible. I mean, they went 12-0 last time. Should still be making finals with the form that they're in. And then Gentlemates, I know how I'm setting this up. I know how it's going. That was the moment where I looked at the bracket and said, I know how this prediction has to go. Gentlemates will beat Ninjas Pyjamas. Then you get a rematch in the finals. It's not uncommon, this split. And truth be told, rematch theory will come into play. I can't believe it. In the year 2026, I'm predicting Vitality to win back-to-back regionals. They look to have stuff figured out. And that's not something really almost any team can say in the year 2026. At least as of now. Gentlemates had it figured out, and then they bombed out. Karmine Corp had it figured out, and then they started losing. Like, NRG had it figured out, and now they can't make a finals. I can go on and on and on. Falcons had it figured out. What the heck? Vitality, are they going to be the team that actually has it figured out? I've got the predictions. Let me know what you guys think. You guys do it anyways, but please let me know what you guys think. Shout out to the channel members. Do appreciate your support. Let's have a good weekend in EU, and let's see how this major race really shakes out. Catch you guys next time.